So I've been running my info product agency for 3 years at this point, and if I could show my past self from 3 years ago how much of this work I am doing now with AI, I think I would be blown away. AI is quite literally a cheat code if you are in this business model, if you have an info product, or if you're looking to partner with people who have info products. And in this video, I'm gonna give you an overview of exactly how I'm using AI, because I had a client who paid me $25,400 last month for 1 month's worth of work. And I would genuinely say that AI was the MVP on this deal. So let's get right into how I'm doing this. So yes, guys, one client paid me $25,400 last month for 1 month's worth of work, and it feels illegal because AI did half of the work. So here's the truth about how all of this works. The truth is AI didn't actually do half of the work. What I would say is that AI is like you're a pilot, and you go from flying a propeller plane to a Gulfstream. Now, while AI didn't do half of the work, AI certainly did quite a bit. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. But the way I like to think about it is AI is the acceleration once you already know where you're going. AI is essentially just the upgraded version of the way that I was doing things 3 years ago. So let's get right into exactly what that looks like. So here are the main things I'm leveraging AI for right now. So creating outlines and frameworks for basically anything, doing insane depth of research on ICPs across different offers, which helps with my copywriting a ton. Any and all first drafts when it comes to any commoditized copywriting assets. So that's basically anything aside from a webinar or a VSL. Anything that involves tracking or data analysis or any tedious things like that, and doing baseline research on anything outside my field of expertise and helping me shorten those learning curves. So here's why you still need to be competent even with AI in the picture. Because the way I like to think about it is that you are the orchestrator and AI is essentially the orchestra. So you still have to understand exactly what the end goal is, and you are essentially calling the shots and just directing everything and making the high leverage decisions. So at the end of the day, you still need to understand the entire flow of how an info product should run. You still need to understand the fundamentals of direct response. You still need to understand the info-specific industry knowledge, aka what's working right now and what's not working right now. You still need to understand how to identify bottlenecks and exactly what to change when X happens, like when things start going bad, exactly what do you do? Because sometimes AI is not gonna be able to tell you that. You need to understand how to actually operate these businesses and the more intangible skills like learning how to hold people accountable, how to lead people, things like that. So in general, the takeaway is that AI is not 100% going to save you, but if you have a little bit of competence, AI can really help you shorten the learning curve. So for now, I think of AI more as like a sidekick than competition. So if I'm Batman, AI is my Robin, and we're doing everything in the business together. So there's a million things that I could show you in this video that I'm leveraging AI for. And if you guys like videos like this, make sure to leave a comment down below with exactly what you want to see, because I'll make the videos. But I'm going to start here because I feel like this is a good thought exercise and it's also a good step one. So essentially, anytime I start working with a new client, I'm going to do an in-depth ICP for that client specifically. So this is going to help so much with all the copywriting things and basically everything that I'm going to be doing after, even with paid ads and stuff like that. Because the big takeaway is AI is only as effective as you are at prompting it. So doing something like an in-depth ICP right off the bat is just going to make everything in terms of output so much better. So as you can see with this ICP, we go into disgusting levels of depth with the ICPs that we generate. So it's everything from the demographic profile, which is your basic stuff, your gender, age range, location, education, etc. Then we kind of define archetypes and everything in between. We talk about their current beliefs and their mindset, limitations, what they're looking to achieve, motivations, belief patterns, like all of this kind of stuff. And this is all setting the tone for AI and having the best and most congruent output with exactly the kind of customers that we're trying to get. Because if you give AI general prompts, you're going to get general output. But if you go laser specific, you are going to get an insane quality of output. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how all this works. So essentially, once I've fleshed out this ICP, I'm going to move down here, and this might look a little confusing, but essentially this pyramid here is the hierarchy of all of the assets that I'm gonna be creating for the offer initially. So we're gonna start with the long form assets like the VSLs, webinars, etc. And then as you go down the pyramid, you go to more standard copywriting assets like emails, ad scripts, etc. And then you get even further down and you go to the more commoditized things like reels, tweets, etc. So the cool thing about AI is that once I write these VSLs and once I write these webinars, I can essentially feed those pieces of context to AI and have it pull angles for things like emails, ad scripts, etc. And then same process here. As you go down the pyramid, you can kind of pull angles from all the stuff above it to generate output for everything below it. But a tool that I've been using on a daily basis at this point is Poppy AI. So the way that Poppy AI works is it's essentially a visual version of Claude. It's essentially like if Claude and Miro, the software I'm using for this right now, had a baby. And the cool thing about Poppy is that it lets you have a lot more control and kind of functionality over what you're doing with Claude. So essentially, this is something I'll build out for every single one of my clients. And over here, I'll throw in the ICP with all of the output, obviously, that we generate over here. And then I'll throw in as much context as possible. So that could be VSLs, webinars, emails, ads I've already written for the client, etc. It can even be long form pieces of content that they've done. Here's just more context. And then here is a dynamic self-refining model. So I'm gonna explain what that means in a second. But essentially what you do in Poppy is you drag all of these little lines here and connect it to this AI chat, which is essentially just Claude. And it's going to essentially generate the output while using all of this as content. And you can even leave little footnotes under each one of these things that you drag into Poppy. So that way you're giving AI more specific context as to exactly what you're feeding it, what to make as the priority, what to not weigh into as much in the output, etc. But really quickly, I want to talk about this thing down here, which is called a dynamic self-refining model, because I haven't heard anyone else talking about this yet. Obviously, I don't follow every single one of the AI influencers, so maybe someone is, but I think that this is something that's been really helpful for me. So think of a dynamic self-refining model as essentially a tunnel that you are passing your output through, and if it meets these criteria, it'll actually get outputted by AI. So let's say, for example, I'm doing email marketing and I have my Poppy board here and I put in all of the context and I put in the ICP and all that, and I give it a prompt as to generating direct response emails. Well, essentially, there's going to be certain things about the output that I like, and there's going to be certain things about the output that I don't like. And the whole point of this dynamic self-refining model is essentially building a baseline for AI to check itself off of. So what I do is I have a model for every kind of category of thing that I'm generating with AI. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm just training AI as to how I like and how I don't like things being done. So I'll have specific things to, let's say, email marketing, where I want the emails to be written this way. I want you to do the CTAs in this way. I want you to space the lines up this way. I want the writing style to be this way. I want you to pull these pieces of context specifically and make those the priority, things like that. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm training this model, and I'm essentially helping it evolve like a Pokemon until it gets to the point where it's generating near perfect output on the first try. So essentially the way that the model works is, first I feed it context, then it generates the output, and then I give it the feedback as to what I like and what I don't like. And essentially what I'll do here is when let's say it outputs an email and I really don't like it, so I go and revise it manually into something I do like. I ask AI to essentially reverse engineer why I made the changes I did, and understand why I made those changes and refine that back into the model. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm just getting AI to think more like me, and obviously the things that I'm doing are more geared for conversions and for direct response marketing than AI. So what I'm doing is over time and over these gradual refinements, I am building a more powerful model. This has been something that I've been doing for a couple months now, and I basically built up these models that are just like the most evolved Charizard for each of the respective things that they're doing. So you can start to get a grasp on how powerful this can be, because think about if you could essentially just churn out perfect emails, perfect ad scripts, perfect reels, perfect tweets, etc. in mass, all with AI, and having AI essentially continue to refine itself and make the output better and better over time. So I want to get to some main takeaways here, because obviously I could go super in depth on this video, but I just wanted this to kind of be an introductory video. And if you guys like it, leave a comment down below. Let me know that you like it, and I'll continue to make more stuff like this. But the main takeaways here are that this stuff is very good for efficiency, reducing creative strain, and helping you go beyond your own creativity. So one big thing when it comes to copywriting, if any of you guys write your own copy, is that certain days you're just not feeling as creative as you would like to be. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I can go and do this webinar right now, or I don't know if I can write this VSL right now, or I don't even want to sit down and write an email right now. So really what AI is doing for me is it's taking off a lot of that creative strain from me, and then I'm essentially just copy chiefing AI. And then beyond that, it's helping me go beyond my own creativity, because once you train your models to a certain point, you're going to be able to ask the model, hey, what angles would you use for this that are probable to convert based on our ICP? So you can kind of see how everything comes full circle here. Obviously, you have to put a little bit of front-loaded work into actually building the models and refining them. But after a certain point, it makes getting creative so much easier. The next big takeaway is that you still need to be competent and understand how everything works, because at the end of the day, if you have these models that can spin out perfect emails and perfect ad scripts and all this stuff, but you don't know how to actually get clients, or you don't know why you're sending the emails or what funnels you're sending them to, or you don't know how to run ads, like there's a bunch of different things that are kind of your baseline knowledge that you have to have for this to actually turn into a real business. But it's really cool that you can use AI to essentially do a lot of the legwork for you once you get to a certain point. The next big takeaway that I've had with all of this is that this still can't fix intangible things like having a bad sales team or having terrible offer positioning or having really bad operational efficiency or things like that. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, like, having these AI tools is not going to fix your business. By no means is it going to just like make money spawn out of thin air. But if you already are going in the right direction and you already understand what you're trying to do and you're kind of in the process of getting things moving, AI is really good for condensing the time frame in terms of what it takes to get things done and to get you and your offers to specific goals. So to me, this is the whole AI operator thesis. I don't know if you guys ever learned about Balto in school, but Balto is essentially one of the like top dogs on the Iditarod, which is the race that they ran. And he was a dog who was a sledding dog or whatever you call it. And essentially, you still have the guy who's at the helm of the sled, and he's just using the dogs to essentially get him to where he wants to go faster, and he's training the dogs, and he has to sit there and go mush, mush, mush the whole time they're doing the race. But essentially, like, these two things without each other are going nowhere. If you are the pilot or the musher here, or whatever his name is, and you don't have any dogs, you're not really going to go anywhere. And if you're the dogs, but you don't have a musher, you're just going to run around and not know what's going on. So my point here is, this is you, and these are your AI tools. You still have to understand the high level view and make high leverage decisions. You just get AI to take care of a good bit of the low leverage legwork that's involved, and you get paid for giving this the headspace and attention it needs and actually operating the business. So essentially, at a certain point, what you turn into is more of like a CMO and a strategist instead of doing all of the legwork yourself. Maybe you take yourself out of 30 or 40% of the legwork, you do a little bit of it manually just to kind of quality check it, but really you turn into more of a CMO and a strategist and the orchestrator. So another big benefit of using all these AI tools is that it makes it much easier to stack 10 clients like this and still have the headspace and bandwidth to operate for all of them. Even right now, I still don't have a massive team. I'm very hands-on with all of my clients, and the only reason why I'm actually able to be so hands-on with most of my clients is because I have AI doing a lot of the low leverage tasks for me. But at the end of the day, this is the overall sobering takeaway. No matter how good this opportunity sounds and how sexy it sounds, and oh my God, you get to partner with businesses and get AI to do a bunch of the work for you and you take rev share, like it sounds great on paper, but so did all of the social media opportunities that have manifested over the past 10 years. Like imagine you told someone in 2012 how many opportunities would come out of social media. And at the end of the day, most of the people watching this video right now, including me, what we do for a living is largely a byproduct of social media. And even now, 99% of the population still does not make money off of social media. So my point is, no matter how good the opportunity sounds, no matter how sexy the tools are, no matter how cool your output is and your prompts, etc., you still have to go out there and sign the clients. You still have to go out there and do the work, and you still have to understand how everything works. AI is just the acceleration. So with that being said, I would 100% say that this is an amazing opportunity for anyone looking to get into the make money online space. If you've already been running an agency before, if you're looking for something that's very high leverage and has a lot of longevity behind it, I'm going to be putting out more videos about this business model if you guys like this. So like I said, be sure to comment down below. But at the end of the day, you just don't want to sit inside and, keep watching these YouTube tutorials and never actually do anything with it. You have to actually go out there and do the work and get yourself in the position where AI can build more leverage for you. But with all of that said, if you're an agency owner or if you're an operator like me, or you run your own info product, learning how to leverage AI is probably one of the most high ROI things you could do for your business right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, just a little sneak peek into kind of the things that I'm doing with AI and how it's helping me run my business better and generate way better results for my clients. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave comments down below, tell me what you like, what you don't like, and I look forward to seeing you next time.